People have to choose if they want to support globalism or nationalism. And given the bad rap that nationalism has in the media and the propaganda, they're probably more likely to say globalism, even though that would be an unelected insurgency. That would be a completely undemocratic takeover by a global cabal. And there's a kind of atmosphere that you're a traitor if you voted for Brexit, or if you care about nationalism. What, if you care about a nation existing? Then you're a traitor to that nation, are you? Right, okay. So how does that work exactly? How have they turned everyone against the idea of having a nation and having any kind of safety, and just got them virtue signalling and saying open borders, get rid of ICE, get rid of security, get rid of police? Well, I'm certainly with them on the fact we need to change the police, because they've been affected by common purpose, and we need a purge of the police, because they're basically assisting councillors and so on in places like Rotherham and Telford and Rochdale. Well, those names came to mind because of Tommy. Don't try and rewrite history. I saw a fascinating Steve Bannon interview with Sargon of Akkad, and Steve Bannon just comes across as a libertarian, just a reasonable person, a rational person, and they were trying to say he was a neo-Nazi in the media, do you remember? Oh, he runs Breitbart, so he's a neo-Nazi. Just like what they're saying about Bolsonaro right now in Brazil. Oh, he's a neo-Nazi, yeah, he's far right. You remember they said that about Trump, didn't they? What did he do? Improve the economy, 4.1%, denuclearization of the North Korean peninsula, which was unprecedented at the time, and, you know, let Russia sort out ISIS in Syria, without funding any more so-called moderates, which Obama was doing, and giving them millions to the Muslim Brotherhood through all departments, such as the Department for Work and Urban Development, or whatever it's called, which Ben Carson basically uncovered. Loads of money earmarked for Muslim Brotherhood, and then there's the whole thing with Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Imran Awan in Pakistan. Lots of money was going to Muslim Brotherhood, lots of money was going to terrorist groups under Obama, and now that's been corrected under Trump. And that makes him a Nazi, doesn't it? That makes him a neo-Nazi. That means he's, you know, moaned about the media, he's reigned in the media. Oh, it's a new dark age, isn't it? Like all the media said in lockstep before he was elected. And they've lost credibility and they still don't realise it. But it's not only the media that's lost credibility now. Google has lost credibility as a search engine. Have you ever tried looking for anything in there? It just comes up with propaganda, propaganda. You look for CNN, it's fake news, it comes up with CNN after CNN article. You can't actually find anything commenting about CNN. So the algorithm has just completely rendered Google as a search engine useless. I recommend DuckDuckGo. And Google will of course push Snopes to the top, you know, because everything that has to be fact checked, and if Snopes says so, then be it so. That's how it is. It's sacrosanct. You can't question Snopes, even though it's, you know, proven lies. Now PayPal is being restricted from all kinds of different outlets. It wasn't just InfoWars, you know. Soros bought shares in it, and then suddenly it gets restricted everywhere because he is the censor. He is appointing himself as judge, jury, and executioner, and king of the world, king of Bilderberg, basically. I think he's going to be the star toast at, you know, Davos or whatever. George Soros seems to be the devil. And the first thing the media does is say, well, it's anti-Semitic to criticise Soros. Well, it's not. You know, he doesn't like Israel. It's anti-Semitic to criticise Israel, isn't it? Plus, he actually confiscated property from the Jews in World War II and admitted it and said it was the happiest time of his life. Is he going to do another interview and say, oh no, that was very troubling times for me? No, because what we've got is an interview with him saying, not at all, it was the happiest time of my life. That's when my character was made. Yes, George. So now he owns the media, social media, the Democrat Party, Snopes, Netflix. You know, if you're thinking about investing in Netflix, don't. It's just going to be propaganda. It's just going to be Soros shares, just going to be his kind of programming that he's approved, etc., to brainwash people even further. It's propaganda, that's all it is. So resist Netflix. I know there's lots of programs on there and they look all cool and everything, and it's good to distract yourself with all this crap. And at the moment I'm boycotting Nike and Marks and Spencer's. M&S because they were selling burqas for children. You have to take an aggressive stance with these corporations, otherwise they will enforce these rules, you know, because they think it's a religion, they think it's mainline, they think it's okay to sell these things, and anything associated with that quote-unquote religion. It's an ideology, of course, but, you know, not to Joe Coburn of the BBC. An ideology and a religion are completely different things, apparently, according to her. But then that's the BBC. Not only fake news, but also fake facts and fake definitions. And Sky News, everything that comes out of the news, the mainstream news, when you watch it, it's just propaganda. Whatever it is, it's just a fake narrative. You know, with Brexit, they're so biased, they're anti-Brexit. The idea of just leaving the EU, you know, the people voting against the establishment, and then the establishment having the nerve to call itself the People's Vote, when people like Tony Blair and Richard Branson, which are obviously just the people, aren't they? And George Soros and the IMF and all the central banks and all the global establishment. Yeah, that's really rebellious, isn't it? Let's call ourselves the resistance. But too many people have been brainwashed by the propaganda, too many people have been fooled by that. And now they would rather say that they were for globalism than nationalism, because nationalism has been painted so bad by all the propaganda that the idea of having a nation makes you racist. But the idea of bringing in masses of illegal people, masses of disease, masses of terrorism, etc., opening the borders, and, you know, that's fine. So we'll have the Prime Minister give big speeches about Eid, but we'll cancel Christmas. Because the mainstream media and everyone has framed Brexit as far right. And far right doesn't mean anything now. They've just called everyone far right, you know? No one believes in the globalist agenda. It doesn't even matter with right and left now. They're trying to confuse it because they've gone so far to the quote-unquote left that even the centre looks far right. Can you work that out? It doesn't matter about these labels because what matters now is nationalism v globalism. That is exactly what Steve Bannon said. That is exactly the paradigm. He read it perfectly. So choose. Are you a nationalist or a globalist? Think about it.